It's been feisty in here. Biggie has moved out, but I'm afraid he won't be on camera. There are cameras in here.
I'm not. I've been told.
You've been told you're not on camera?
No.
Oh, well, then you need to move.
I said, am I on camera?
Yeah.
Our videographer / engineer Drew said, no, the back of you is.
Yeah.
So I will rearrange during our first commercial break.
And, of course, the problem is that that'll move him closer to me, which he's already said he doesn't want to do.
No, I don't like being dead-eye with you, which is what I'll be. I'll be straight, just dead across from you.
Yep, there's no escaping
It's my nightmare.
Yeah, there's no escaping that, is there? Then I can see you and we can be right on.
Yeah, well, with the plexiglass that we have up in here, it'll be like prison. And I'll be going, they said they have the tax documents.
Yeah. That's right.
There's not much you can do.
That's right. That's exactly how it'll be. But we already had this little, Chris Demm called it a passive-aggressive square dance, where he was saying, I may not be on camera, but that's okay. And I said, well, why don't you move? And he said, I don't want to move. And I said, well, I think you should move if you're not going to be on camera. But then I said, I don't care. And he said,
But you do.
But I do care.
Yeah.
Of course.
And Biggie says he doesn't, but he does.
But
too.
of course, and he doesn't
I
want to.
don't like being on camera.
You don't?
I'm not photogenic.
But you're on camera every day.
I know. I try to pretend I'm not.
Every single day.
I don't like to think about it. Yesterday, I got several emails because I was playing along with the pyramid game. People were like, "They could see you mouth."
Oh,
And
you're
I said,
mouthing along answers.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know, every time it's something like that I remember that, and I'm like, I don't like these.
My sister says she watches us on YouTube every night. She called me the other day and said, I like to go home and watch your YouTube stuff. And I said, ooh, really?
Yeah, really?
Okay, all right. And she said, yeah, I really like Biggie. He's something. And she loves seeing you on camera.
I'm not.
That's where you've got to be, of course.
I'm not made for the lens.
You know... Well, there's
No one in this room is.
No one's really made for the lens. You know, and another thing I'm a little worried about is they said the other day, I was in a meeting, they said soon, because the numbers are getting better, of course, we're going to take the plexiglass out, and that'll allow us to get more of your face, to me. And I said, I don't know about that. I kind of like it where it is on me. It's high.
Yeah.
You know,
And angled.
An angle. It's like an Instagram angle, way up high, because of the plexiglass.
Yeah.
Which is in place for the pandemic. Now the pandemic's ending.
You know what I was thinking about this plexiglass? Because we won't throw it away. I bet it'll just go into a closet or a shed. And do you think in 10 years somebody will be digging through and be like, what's all this plexiglass? And be like, oh, that was the pandemic.
Pandemic code.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
Probably so. You're right. We can't, just in case something else ever happens.
We spend money on it. We can save it.
Now, BB Shea, he was talking about the pyramid game. You'll get to play today.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew you would be. That's why I wanted you in here. I said going into this, we'll play pyramid because you're a good pyramid player.
Thank
So
you.
stressful.
Yeah. Yesterday, people did notice that Biggie was mouthing along to the other people's answers. And we got some emails on that. And I was unprepared because I didn't have tiebreaker games, and I have those today.
Okay.
I made sure of it. I felt like I was losing it a little yesterday. I just turned 50, and my son was saying something to me, and it's happened to me like 2 or 3 times lately. We were talking about football, and our favorite team is the Broncos. They have 2 quarterbacks now, Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. And my son said, well, who's going to win this battle, Teddy or Drew? And I said, I don't know. What are you talking about?
What are they fighting over?
Who's Teddy?
He said, come on, Dad. Do you
Is he
think
on your team?
Because they just started.
Are they in your grade?
Right. I know what he's talking about. They just started like OTAs. He goes, is it going to be Teddy or is it going to be Drew? And I was like, I don't know. I don't even.
Is it going to be Aaron? Are they going to get Aaron?
And again,
Aaron?
I was like, who's Aaron? What are you talking about? I had no idea what he was talking about. And I thought, am I losing it? Certainly not. But then it just happened a few minutes ago. There was a woman on a commercial who said, at 50, your first half of life is over. You're going into the second half. And Chris Demm says to me, she's got your philosophy. And I said, what do you mean? Huh? I did. I said, what do you mean?
Who's she?
That's all I've ever said.
The woman said she plans to live half her life after 50. And I said, Kelly, that's your goal. He's like, my what?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
What are you talking about?
I think I'm starting to lose it. And I do. I've always said I want to go to 100.
Yeah.
And so I'm at halftime right now. In fact, the marching band's not even out on the field yet. It's late second quarter.
Yeah, the
for
teams
them.
are still clearing.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. It's barely clicked over to triple zeros now at halftime.
You won't really do halftime till maybe what, 60?
Maybe 53 or 4.
That's pushing
Okay.
it.
I'd say
60.
52 or 3. Yeah, 60 make me to 120.
Yeah, but I could see you believe and you'll make it.
I believe you me, I'm trying. But now that I'm starting to lose out on these things, especially when Chris Demm said, she's got your life philosophy. What do you mean?
My life, what?
It's exactly what I've said. My whole life. That's all I've ever said.
For 50 years
For
you've
50
been
years, and I'm like, what do you mean? It's like I've lost all these things. It's really disconcerting. I'm concerned about it. And Phil Mickelson, who just won, this happened yesterday, he just won the PGA tournament, of course. Did you watch it, BB Shea?
I don't like Phil Mickelson. No, I didn't watch any of it.
Contrarian.
I can't watch it when someone I don't like is leading. That's just how I am.
Contrarian.
You don't like Phil Mickelson?
Not one bit.
Man, this might be the ultimate contrarian moment.
Why would you say? Are you just trying to hurt me?
Absolutely
say,
not. No, I've never liked him.
It's Chris Kelly's hero. Right now.
He's just like me. He's left-handed.
Struggles with weight,
Struggles
left-handed.
with weight.
Yeah.
50 years old. He's reshaping his body as we speak. Why would you not like him?
He just has a punchable face, and I want to punch him every time I see him. I don't know what it is about that guy. Never liked him.
You know what the debate has always been? I've had the debate. He comes off as this nice, like, aw shucks kind of guy always. And I've heard some people say he's not like that at all if you really met him.
I could imagine.
They say he's really kind of fake. But
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure.
No wonder you like him.
Right.
My God. You are the same.
I mean, I'll tell you this story about Phil Mickelson. I don't think I've ever told Chris Demm this. And this, for years, I loved it, but now I think it might be fake. Years ago, he's played here once. We have a tournament here. It's the Wyndham Championship. Once, this is mid-90s. I would say 96, 97, something like that. I used to be on another radio show, and we would go out for the Pro-Am the day before the tournament and do a broadcast live. Why, I don't know. But, it was like, we're going to...
Occasionally you'd get a B-level celebrity.
Correct.
We'll
Okay.
see.
Yeah, because they'd have a couple of... Well, I met...
That dude from Coach.
Foggerbocke, Jim Foggerbocke. You know Jim Foggerbocke?
No, never heard of him.
I do.
All right. Yeah. All right, you know it. Yeah, how about Doogie Howser's father? Do you know him?
No.
James
all
B.
right.
Sicking.
James B. Sicking.
This is the level celeb we're talking about.
Yeah.
Totally worth relocating an entire radio show.
And let me tell you, James Foggerbocke, they paid big for him to come, I'm sure.
Big deal. It was in the 90s?
Or at least his hotel, yeah.
Yeah, in the 90s? Well, we had
he's from Coach.
Jim Foggerbocke, James B. Sicking, the great Hal Sutton. You know Hal Sutton?
No, I don't know.
He's a golfer. He's an athlete.
These names mean nothing to you? No.
He's won. We talked to Hal Sutton. Apparently, Hal Sutton has won the PGA Championship years ago, like in the 80s.
That's right.
And we got Hal Sutton on, and he's, at that time in the 90s, so he's probably in his 40s at that time. And I say to him, boy, would you ever celebrate if you ever won a major? Wouldn't it be crazy? And he goes, well, I won the major. I won the PGA. Low moment.
Prepared
Low
host.
So I was out at the driving range, and Phil Mickelson was getting ready to hit some shots. And I interviewed him, and I talked to him. And before the interview, I said, hi, I'm Chris Kelly from such and such radio station. And he said, I was just listening to you guys on the way in. And I said, really? And he goes, yeah, I thought you were really fun. And I said, gosh, thanks, Mr. Mickelson. Now, I think he's probably lying.
Yeah.
But I was like, really? And it was the only year he was ever here.
I was going to say it had to be a one-off.
It was
for
one
him.
time. It was one time. He was unbelievably nice. And so from that moment on, plus he's lefty. He's my age exactly.
Yeah.
He struggles with body composition. I bought his shirt. I went and bought a Phil Mickelson shirt.
I remember that era.
Remember that shirt I wore?
Very busy pattern.
You always said it was a horrible pattern on me.
Yeah.
Very busy.
Stripes.
Yeah.
Was that the one with the fade out in the middle?
You thought it looked like a bad teeth. It was. It had a.
Yeah.
And you know what I've learned, too, is you both won't admit it, but you love Tom Brady. He was raving about Tom Brady yesterday.
Phil Mickelson
yeah.
was? Yeah.
After playing with Tom Brady is apparently what got him to totally remake
Really?
his body.
When they did that.
Yeah, he said he's such an inspiration. He doesn't give up.
When it was Mickelson and
Brady playing
and Manning
together.
and Tiger.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And he said he's just unbelievable. So that's what made him. He's like, he at his age, he still goes for greatness. And I'm like, well, why can't I go for greatness?
Right. Yeah.
So he's his inspiration too. Kind of like, I really think Tom Brady's your inspiration.
I have done a lot of. I've looked after time. I tried the TB12 diet.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't stay on that. But anyway, ultimate contrarian move to not like Phil Mickelson. So yesterday, now this is another example of kind of losing. This is another family member. We're sitting there watching. Pardon the interruption. Sports program. I watch it almost every afternoon. Well, of course they led with Mickelson winning the PGA. And Michael Wilbon, one of the hosts of the show, was talking about Mickelson. Now, it's me, my son, my wife, my daughter, all sitting there just glued to it. And Wilbon says, I spoke with Phil Mickelson fairly recently, and before he won the PGA, a few months ago, and said, what is it about being in your now 50 years old and trying to win? And Mickelson said, it's not physical. I can do it physically. It's all mental. It's all about concentration, preparation, having a searing focus, about focus on every single shot. Now, as he says this, my wife says to my son, do you hear that, Ben? It's about focus. My son said, oh.
Perfect. Perfect time.
Right
He's
on
got
cue.
it. Yeah.
What?
Exactly.
My son, we'll be riding in the car, and somebody will say something on the radio, and I thought, oh, that's an interesting point. What? Never.
Never in.
He
Yeah.
never is. I don't
He's
know
just
what.
not present.
No,
No.
he's not present. It's unbelievable. And now I'm starting to lose it like that. I'm refocusing. At 50, I'm refocusing. Do you think I have a punchable face? I
No,
know that
not
you-
at all. I don't think you have a punchable
Oh, I
face.
thought that was. I had written that down as one of the common.
Next on your list.
Yeah, I just checked that
figured
right
it out.
off.
I got to find that old Mickelson shirt, too. I love that shirt.
You think your wife didn't Goodwill that?
She threw it away. Yeah, or Goodwilled it. Exactly.
It was like brown on top. Then there was a
Beige.
mostly brown from shoulder to nipple. Then there was like a bluish area, and then white in the center, and then blue, and then brown again.
Yes.
Oh, my
Yes.
God.
I loved it. And the white in the center was like one huge stripe, but it wasn't.
Like Hawaiian teeth.
Yes. Yes. It was
Good Lord.
It was very much like teeth. I got to find an old picture of me with the Mickelson shirt. It was a Phil Mickelson exclusive. And when I bought it, I was looking at it, and the guy said, by the way, that's the Phil Mickelson line. And I said, well,
I'm
then
well aware.
Let me have it, is what I said. Yeah, exactly.
This, sir, is you.
Do you have a puffy docker I can get with it?
You'll never regret this with that punchable face.
Oh, it was a really, really good purchase, I'll tell you that. A couple of things here today. This is about America inside the numbers and retail numbers. You know, at the beginning of this pandemic, we talked about the things we bought, like Clorox wipes and toilet paper and paper towels, all those things that became hugely popular. Now there are stories out about what we're buying now that it seems to be coming to an end. People are taking off their masks. You know, I just saw the numbers are better today than they have been in many, many months, and that's great news, of course. But now, things that are selling big, and I was really shocked by this, alarm clock sales, booming. Who's buying an alarm clock these days? Don't people
I don't get that.
I don't either. I mean, I guess it's because people have to get up to go back to work now instead of being as, maybe it's a little looser when you're working from home, but a clock? They say sales are up 400% on clocks.
I have an alarm clock solely for the reason of, well, one, it's a clock in my room, and if all else fails, I'll use that.
It's a just in case.
Yeah.
I do
but
too.
I have my phone, and I have my Amazon Echo in the room, and those are the two I use.
Yes, and then you have that as backup.
Exactly. That's the back, but mostly it's for when I wake up in the middle of the night, kind of opening one eye to go, I still
What
can
time
sleep
is
for,
it?
Yeah, I
Right,
can
what
sleep
time
for
is
an
it?
hour.
Yeah, but people, I was so surprised to read that Walmart said it has sold 4 times as many alarm clocks in the last month than it did compared to a year ago. I mean,
I don't know why.
I don't either. Luggage sales up 400%. That makes sense.
Yeah.
People now
Well,
starting.
I mean,
to
from a year ago. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess that makes
Oh, yeah.
sense.
yeah, people starting to travel now again.
Everyone I talk to is like, I'm planning. BB Shea and I were just having a conversation. We were like vacation mode. Like we're saving for vacation. Everyone I know is planning something.
Chris Dimm will like this. He likes your end of the week wrap so much. BB Shea will not be here on Friday. He is taking a 4-day weekend for the Memorial Day holiday.
All right.
But I've arranged with him to do the wrap on Thursday. BB Shea said, should we skip
So
it
no
this week?
holiday for me.
That's right. He said, should we skip it this week? I said, absolutely
I
not.
don't know which one of you BB Shea is going to take out first, but it's going to be one of you. It's either going to be Demm with the rap or you with the contrarianness.
I cannot believe you don't like Phil
See?
Mickelson. I've never met anybody who doesn't like Phil Mickelson.
One of you is going to have an aneurysm, either Demm during the rap
Jeez.
or you when he says something like that, your brain won't compute it.
Yeah. Although my father-in-law's wife, she didn't like Mickelson. She used to call him Fat Phil.
Well, yeah, I've heard that too. And so, I can't remember when I read this. This may have been a Sports Illustrated 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. I don't know. But somebody used the acronym about Phil, Fig Jam. Have you heard this?
Fig Jam.
Fig
No.
Jam.
No.
Just sounds mean.
The first F is the F word.
Okay, yeah.
And it's blank, I'm good. Just ask me. Ooh.
Well,
He's a fig jam.
let me tell you one more thing about Phil Mickelson.
But he was a young man. Clearly, he's seen things. It's
okay, right.
You have to have changed from the time you're 35 to the time you're 50.
Well, maybe
Mindset.
at least on the what we see of him, he's the exact same. I mean, he's kind of mopes, kind of gets around it, and I mean, the
He
crowd
thumbs
loves
up to everybody when he makes a good shot.
I saw him give a tee, I believe, to a young kid who was on the sideline, and he was in a wheelchair, and Mickelson had hit from over there, and he had to mark his ball with a tee, and he gave him the tee and patted him on the back, and the kid was just like, "Oh, did you see that? It was incredible." I'll say this about Mickelson: 15 years ago, Chris Demm and I played in this same tournament. Now, Mickelson wasn't there at this time. It was a golf tournament, and I got to play in the Pro-Am round with Steve Elkington.
God, yeah.
With Steve Elkington. And Steve Elkington?
No.
You don't know the L?
No, he doesn't. He's so young. He's young.
What is this?
I barely know Steve Elkington. He's not going to know him.
All right. Steve Elkington
Yeah.
was this great Australian.
One major.
Yeah, he won a major.
The PGA?
Yes. Everybody seems to win the PGA. That's just,
If it's a one-off major, it is
Yeah.
the
a lot of
PGA.
times PGA. So I was talking with him, 18 holes worth. Chris Demm was my caddy, and I was playing, okay? Now, don't think that didn't give me some satisfaction. Although I wasn't.
Although you had the worst day,
I mean,
perhaps,
my
of your
God,
life.
I almost killed my newborn son. My son, this was 2005 because my son was about a month old, 2 months old, and I hit it right at him. My wife was holding him on, and she had to get out of the way. It was horrible. And at one point, on like a par 3, I hit the ball. And I said, I couldn't see it. You know how sometimes you look and
Well, it was kind of like an elevated.
Yeah.
There was a hump in the middle of the fairway. You couldn't quite see the landing.
That's
area.
right. And I said to Steve Elkington, "Where is it, Steve?" And he said, he was Australian. He goes, "If you run real fast, you can catch it." And it landed right in front of me. It was straight up.
30 feet above your head, Mike.
And then on some of them, I would get up to the green and say, "Where am I, Steve?" And he'd say, "You're in your pocket, mate. I picked it up.
We're done here.
Yeah, we're done." He'd move us on.
You're not even putting.
But he wouldn't let me putt. But I said to him, at this time, Tiger Woods was, just unbelievably hot. And so I said, "What kind of guy is Tiger Woods?" He goes, "Salt of the earth guy, really great guy in private, would love hanging around with him, just couldn't be nicer, lights up a room, good guy." And I said, "What about Mickelson?"
Ladies seem to like it.
Well, yeah, okay. And I said, "What about Mickelson?" He goes, "Phony." He said he in private he's different than he is on television. He's different than the crowd thinks he is. But all these years I've sort of I've let that go. And then 2 years ago or 3 years ago he was at the U.S. Open and he was frustrated. The ball was rolling on the green and he hit it while it was rolling. And I was really mad at him for that. I thought that was really unprofessional. But I let it go. He just seems to be such a good guy. You will not. You are still. You do not like.
Not on the train. No,
I never have. My goodness. One more thing that sales are going way up: teeth whitening strips and beauty products in general, because people are going back out into public.
Yeah,
that makes some sense.
Or you've been staring at your own face at a Zoom.
Yeah, maybe it's been long enough. You've seen your face.
I mean, look at Alex Rodriguez. He's selling men's makeup now.
Yeah.
What do you think of Alex Rodriguez?
I love Alex Rodriguez. Big Yankee fan, so naturally,
see,
he's the man.
He's going to be the death of one of you.
Did you hear what he just said?
I heard what he said to you.
Did you hear what he?
I heard what he said. Contrarian.
Oh my God! And he's in here. We let him in here.
You prefer him.
I do like him. I mean, there's glass between it. Look at him.
You better be glad there's glass between us.
I'm telling you. He's going to be here tomorrow, too. That's going to be a couple of days in a row. Party supplies, way up. Sales, way up. I guess people are getting together, having parties again. All these things, I suppose, are you would expect. And condom sales, up by 50%.
Well, that's because we're hoping to go back out if you're single. And
go back out and
mingle.
Get out there and get it now.